miniMRP version 4 will be released early in 2012, and these videos will be of benefit to users of previous versions of the miniMRP software, who are interested to see what changes are being made. This video will show you how to create a new assembly, based on one that already exists. To begin, let's take a closer look at the kind of items we have in our sample database. You'll see it contains electronic components. miniMRP can be used to manage inventory and bills of materials for all types of products, but we're going to base this example on electronic components. A computer mouse is something that you probably use every day, and you'll be able to visualize what the components relate to and have no problems following this demonstration. Here in our database is an old PS2 mouse. We're going to make a new USB version. Even though our new assembly won't contain many components, it'll still be quicker if we start with the assembly that already exists. So, let's open the full indented parts list and look at the old mouse that already exists in our database. Of course, a real computer mouse has entirely different components, but this is, after all, only an example. For the sake of this simple example, we'll assume that all we need to do is to replace this PS2 connector with one for USB. But to make it a little more realistic, you'll see that the connector is part of a sub-assembly. So what we need is a new USB cable assembly. So let's build that first. We already have the PS2 cable assembly, so let's open it in the editor. We don't want to overwrite the existing PS2 assembly, so the first thing we do is to save it with a different name using this Save button. A window appears asking for a part number and a description. When we save, it creates a new assembly without overwriting the original. But before we can make changes, we need to unlock it. The lock is just to prevent accidental changes being made. First thing we'll do is remove the cable and old PS2 connector. Now we need to add the USB connector. When I click this button here at the bottom, a search window appears. I'll enter the text, connector, into the search box, and this brings up a list of all my connectors. This is the one I want. Click this button to add it to the parts list. You'll see it's appeared here. Now the same with the cable. I want this 4-core cable for my USB assembly. Close the search window and look at my parts list. This looks good. I've made changes, so I need to save my work before exiting. Now back to the mouse. Let's open the old PS2 mouse in the editor, and save with a different part number to create a whole new mouse with a new part number and description. Remember to unlock the parts list, otherwise you won't be able to edit. We'll remove the PS2 cable assembly and add the new one. And there's our new parts list. Click Save. And we're done. If we open the viewer, you'll see the full indented parts list for our new USB mouse. If I open a list of all the assemblies in my database, you'll see I've now got 2 entirely different mouse assemblies. One is the old PS2 mouse and the other is our new USB version, and because they're built using different components, you'd also expect the build costs to be different. The miniMRP project is constantly evolving, as new features are added, so it's inevitable that some things will change by the time this version is released. But I hope this video gave you an idea of what to expect when you upgrade to version 4. Thank you for watching.